It's about 5 p.m. on Friday, November 17th, 2023, and we're moving the cows to the next cell. I don't know what number this is. We're on the second section though. Here the grass is a little better. We're starting to get in that really good spot, which is just down there. But as you can see, I'm standing in tall grass right now. So, yeah. So, weather right now is about 65 degrees, maybe 68, probably 65. Cows were eager to move. Some of them were even mooing. Here's number 24, by the way. A really skinny one, you can tell by her hip. But she's skinny. Also, you can see the bones on her back here. She is very skinny. Well, she could be worse. You could be seeing the ribs. But, yeah. Anyway, if she falls over dead, I won't be too surprised. There's a lot of flesh left on her yet, though. I should probably sell her. Yeah. This bull is not too fat either. So. Oh, JJ, thank you for bringing them in. Is that metal tag? No. It's two of my calves. What we're gonna do, actually, you can leave that there. You can extend the row, the lane, and bring it down here. Okay. You'll need an extra post. I'll bring the pigtail post over here. So the sheep, the ram, he's back with the sheep. I guess he decided he'd rather be with the sheep, but he doesn't respect my fences, so I don't like him too much. JJ, grab that post, you're gonna need it. No, you have to grab another post. Here, I'll use this post here. Okay, so I release the lock here. If I can, one-handed. There we go. Grab the handle, I missed the handle. Move it back here. Put it through there, and I want to lock it down. And use the weight of the reel to put tension on the wire. There. There, he needs a post. Oh wait, let's just leave this post here, I guess. Leave that post there. He's got a post. Yeah, just make the post match that post there. Yeah. You can only go so far with the wire before it sags too much. And I found that the number for flat ground, if I go more than 75 feet, it starts to sag too much. If it's under high tension, like if I'm able to pull it from both ends and there's no bends or curves, then I could probably go 100 feet and put a post up. But for my sanity's sake, and for measurement purposes, I put these posts every 40 feet. So I don't have to keep it very much under tension to keep the wire high so it doesn't sag so much, you know. And my ground is mostly flat. There's a little bit of a hill, but it's very minor. Looks like Snowball found something. He's digging a hole in my pasture. Anyway. Yeah, so healthy soil. One of the other things I learned, and the more I think about this, the more it makes sense. So, you able to get it on there? The plants, there's like the primary stuff that they grow, and there's like secondary stuff. The primary stuff makes the plant look green and healthy and builds the photoreceptors for photosynthesis, and makes the plant tall. Okay. Also, sugar, it makes the plant sweet, right? As those photocells do their job collecting solar energy and converting carbon dioxide and water into sugar. That's great, and that's what we want plants to do. But there's so many other biological processes that are involved that if a plant were only doing that, it would be considered sickly or even dead, right? And the other processes involve making different things like chemicals and vitamins and nutrients and stuff like that, minerals. If you were to get your mineral intake from plants, your body would be better able to absorb that than if you ate the minerals raw. And mostly that has to do with the fact that the plants spread it out into very, very tiny pieces of minerals. And so the plants, that they need those secondary processes. And the issue is that if you feed the plants nitrogen, too much nitrogen, it grows quickly, it makes a lot of sugar, it makes it sweet, but it makes it sickly. If the plant needs more nitrogen, then it will send signals down to its roots to encourage the nitrogen to come towards its roots, right? And we've seen that the legumes, we call them nitrogen fixing plants because they tend to put nitrogen in the soil. It's not the plant itself doing that, it turns out, it's the bacteria and fungus around the plant. And we've also found that having clovers grow right next to grass is kind of an optimal arrangement where the grass can get almost all the nitrogen it could possibly use, but you don't have to put any fertilizer down, you know. And that's why when lawns started to become a thing in the United States, the people who sold lawn seed, they would sell white clover, a certain percentage of white clover in the lawn seed intentionally, because nobody back then bought fertilizer and put it on their lawns, right? So if you wanted a green lawn, you had to have a healthy ecosystem down there so the grass could get all the nitrogen that it needed, right? So healthy plants also do other things besides using nitrogen to make bigger plants and stronger plants and more sugar. And so those secondary chemicals, those secondary processes are also important. And I believe that one of the reasons why our food is so devoid of nutrition is not because the soil's devoid of nutrition, but because the soil is dead. All the component parts are down there. It's just the plant's not able to access it. And the nitrogen is telling the plant not to try to access it. If we had living soils with fungus and bacteria doing their jobs and working in symbiosis with the plants, working together, then the plants would be that much healthier and stronger and more full of nutrients, right? So as we've applied fertilizer to our fields, the end result is that we get better crop yields that year, but over time, the soil dies. It interferes with the natural processes that would keep the soil alive and healthy. And so we're turning our farmland, what little farmland we had in the United States, because remember when we got here, there wasn't a lot of agriculture happening in North America. So taking the land that was pasture land, it was forest land, and for many years we didn't use fertilizer, and so some of that older farmland was just healthy because of the way that it was managed. And then once we started using fertilizer around the turn of the century, and we started disturbing the soil, like in the old days, if you wanted to till the soil, you had to use an animal or you had to pull the plow yourself, right? Which wasn't going to happen. So it was only as much as an ox could bear, or a horse, or a team of horses. And so people would just lightly till the soil, just the very top part of it, and leave the rest alone. But nowadays with these machines, these huge tractors, you know, with immense power, can dig deep down into the soil and turn it over. And we're really good at killing stuff, you know, which the plowing absolutely does kill the field. So that practice, plus the fertilizer, plus the herbicides and insecticides, just ended up killing the soil, right? And so when we do grow plants, they're sickly and weak, they're susceptible to insects and disease, they don't have a lot of nutritional value, and that's happening all across America. And so this is the regenerative practices that we're focused on. We're trying to build healthy soil, they can grow healthy plants without fertilizer, without herbicides and insecticides. This is kind of what the promise of the promise of organics was supposed to be. Well, I think this is the way to do it. Now the catch, this is the huge caveat, is that this is a very labor intensive process. It does not scale, right? If I were to become an expert in this, probably I can manage up to 1,000 acres. That would be a full-time job. And the only way really to manage that much land is if I started hiring people to work with me, you know. And then, you know, beyond that, that's just too much land for one person to handle. There's no way I can sit down and figure out like the grazing patterns or, you know, what we're supposed to do with a particular field to get it back to health. And so this agricultural revolution or devolution, depending on how you look at it, is going to require lots of manpower and lots of people looking at their grass. And it's going to require a focus and effort. It's going to require a lot of manual input, right? And so if this is going to work, if we're going to break our dependence on chemical fertilizers and machines, then we're all going to have to get our hands dirty to one degree or another, right? And that's one of the exciting things, honestly, about this is that, you know, we don't feed ourselves by sitting in an office. Now we have to get out here to nature and smell the manure, you know, smell the flowers. And so this is what needs to happen all across America. And the yields of this process per acre are actually greater, right? So we can take the same acreage of pasture land and grow even more cows, right? Now when it comes to corn and soybean and stuff like that, which remember, most of that's going to feed cattle, right? We're not going to need that stuff anymore. And the acreage that we use for veggies and the grains that we actually do eat will be less productive, but it will have more nutrient value. And that's what I think is the amazing thing. Guys, have a great day. Take care and bye-bye.